Ta-da! Ta-da-da-da, 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 ta-da-da-da-da. Chandini, oh meri Chandini. Hey everybody, welcome to another brand new episode of United Voice of Women, of course, with Vani from the studios of Mana TV TV5. और मैं चांदनी जो कर रही थी ना, that is for this beautiful guest that we have in our studios today. When I saw her, this was the song that came out of me and I couldn't stop myself. So yes, I know that you are as excited as I am to meet our new guest and to go into another beautiful journey. So if you're ready, I sure am. On this beautiful fiza, or ab aayega maza, because it's officially time for UVW. Hey everybody, welcome back to another brand new episode of United Voice of Women, which is an ode to the women, a celebration of women, encouragement to women, and of course, inspiration by and for women. Only and only on this gorgeous platform of United Voice of Women, brought to you by Vani from the studios of Mana TV TV5. Well, friends, how are you doing? I am totally excited once again, of course, to be able to bring another beautiful guest, another beautiful friend that's going to take us through her beautiful journey. And I'm sure each one of us out there would have something to take away. Maybe a smile, maybe a warning, maybe a lot of inspiration, maybe some encouragement, or otherwise a few laughs. I'm ready for anything that comes my way, and I just can't wait. But I have to just say this to you once again. I love you guys. I mean, mwah, 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 mwah. I love you, all right? Thank you so much for being with me and taking me, helping me through this beautiful journey of mine, because what I do here actually is my journey, and it's taking me to places that I never thought possible. I loved life all my life, but I didn't really think that I would be able to enjoy the life of so many other gorgeous women right here. Okay, so without any further ado, if you guys are ready, I want to take it up and say welcome, my dear new friend. This is Sia in the studios of United Voice of Women. Welcome, darling.
Vani, it's absolutely my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
How can you stay so cool and calm and so poised and so lovely and so beautiful and so gracious at the same time?
I think it's people like you that bring out the best in us. I'm mesmerized, speechless.
I love you.
Love you. And you know, just hearing you speak to the audience, I've fallen in love with them too. So hopefully we're creating a circle of love here now, and light, and happiness.
Exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, nothing else, because I really don't know anything else.
Yeah. Hey, why would you?
You know, I've got really nothing else to offer, because all I care about is just joy.
Yeah.
The sheer joy of living and living in the moment. All right, and you are like a beautiful breeze, a lavender breeze, let's say. You know what? Since I've seen you, I'm like in a mood to sing and not really talk, okay? But
I get it.
but you know what? We can't stop talking once we sit down on this table. So we are going to do that. But before we say anything else here, I want to ask you something. Have you watched United Voice of Women before?
I've watched, yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah. And when you see it, what is in it for you, basically?
It was a pleasant, fresh breath of air for me. When I watched you, I didn't know what to expect. I came across it, and I'd heard of your name after the pageant and everything. And Rashmi Bedi was on the first episode that I saw. And I wasn't expecting to see, receive, experience, and be with you without actually being in your physical presence, like being in the studio with you. I got to see your personality, what you brought out of your guest, in that case Rashmi. I felt like we were already friends. I felt like, there is this song, somebody else does a show, and I love dignified, sophisticated experiences. And when she does the show, her starting title, the song actually says, "Speak so I can see your soul."
I know who you're talking about. Oh my God, I love her.
For me, I live my life from my soul, and to be able to connect with you in that way, I could really see you and experience you. And I'm hoping that the audience gets to see you in that way, not just superficially, because you bring so much just joy anyway. Even on the surface level, you bring so much joy. But I think what you do to delve into something that's deeper, anybody can do a show and get some information across, but to really have it become an experience for those who are watching on any level, enjoyment and then deeper. I think it's the only word I can think of, and I love this word, it's precious. So thank you for bringing that to us.
Wow. That was deep, Sia. I mean, that's beautiful because I think possibly even I didn't really know what I really wanted out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I just knew that I want to be able to help everybody come here and think that we are beautiful just the way we are, and our lives are precious. It's something that we want to celebrate the way it is. I don't know how it was yesterday, I don't know how it's going to be tomorrow, but right now I want to think that, it's a great life.
It's a great life, and also, the intimacy that you create within yourself. Like, you have to be very comfortable with you to be this outside and just be yourself.
I guess.
There's something else, but I want to let you complete first.
No, please.
One of the other things to do with your first question about watching the show, because I think we only invest ourselves in things that matter to us, right? And when I'm out, so I was on a personal note, because how it affected me, because everything does. It affects you positively only if you allow it to, right? And you experience it that way.
True.
And I grew up very Western. I was born in Bombay, but grew up very Western, even in my thought process, and it's different than most people I meet. And so I've traveled a lot, and when I was in the Edison area, I would meet people, because of the work that I do, I would meet people that would say to me, Indian community this, Indian people this, and Indian people that. And I said, no, but those aren't the people that I meet. Whether it's the Western community or the Eastern community, whatever it is, I end up meeting some really great people. It was while I was doing the pageant that I got to see a spectrum of quote-unquote Indian people, right? I am one of them. On the one hand, I have a sabhyata jisko kehte hain, I have that. I have my values, I have my principles, and I walk a certain path, not because I'm Indian, because I am who I am.
Correct.
And I love the Vedas and I love the culture. At the same time, my thought process is very wide. But during the pageant, I got to see what people were talking about. And there was a negative element. There was some talks, and I could see, the things that people talk about with women, the judgmental. And then I met these amazing angels, that I connected with on so many levels. And what I got to see, and here's the thing, there's a language that I speak as well. And I didn't think, and I didn't know that language was in our community. So when I watched the program that you did, and you use words like journey, you put yourself out, you brought it out. And you weren't afraid to just speak your language. And I said, you know what? Because that's what I do. I speak my language. But then because of people saying to me, Indian people won't respond well to this. And I was like, well, maybe I should just be sensitive to that. When I saw you speak, I said, done. I speak my language anyway, but this is my game. I'm going to play my game now. So it was an inspiring moment for me to see you, to warm up to you, and then to meet you now after, I think it's been, I think I watched that program maybe 4 or 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
So to then get an invitation to come out and do a program with you, it's beautiful. To just meet you in person, it's beautiful. So thanks for letting me complete this.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Sia, I really don't know what you mean by this language of mine that I'm speaking. What language am I speaking?
Abhi baat and this is the other thing. We have to be able to celebrate. My favorite thing is being able to celebrate yourself and being celebratory in your life.
Yes,
and
that's
the people,
language I understand.
right? And the people that are around you. Ab mujhe ek baat बताओ. How many people speak this language? How many people talk about? How many people
okay.
talk about openly celebrating? How many
Yes.
people? This is what you and I are doing, maybe in different ways. That I am an educator, right? For one. Okay.
Yes, we need to know
We'll
all
find-
about you, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So my platform is whole education, not just academic, but whole education. So for that, I've gotten very deep into myself in every way, and we'll go into that later. But I got to see something that I didn't like, and there's very few things I don't like because I fall in love. I fall in love very easily, and I give love very easily, and I receive love very easily. I'm a very wide and big person for love. It's like I ate it up. I don't need food. I eat love. Yeah, I eat love and happiness.
Yes.
So when I meet people who are out of touch with themselves, they say I'm not being real sometimes. I'm joking about this. I don't
I
get
know
that.
what you mean.
But you know, the real world and practical nature and everything. You can be happy and still be practical. You can still make great money. You can still have great friends. The difference is the experience that you have of yourself. So when you say, I think now you're getting it right about our language is the language that I feel. So as a juxtaposition, counterpoint. I'm very gentle, I'm very sensitive, and I tend to be what people would call innocent, but that doesn't lack intelligence. I like my innocence because it lets me just be me.
So true.
And while we were doing the pageant, you know, there were catty remarks here and there, and people were it wasn't overt, but I think people don't recognize when they're being vindictive or mean. And my way to respond to that is like, wow, you have to live with you. I'm happy. It hurts. It hurts
Yes.
because you're a pure person and
I
you
think-
give your best.
And I think, Sia, what you're really trying to say is that it's just one of your experiences.
Absolutely.
Through your pageant.
Yes.
But then, of course, life is so much huge.
I was just going to say that.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So in this huge life of ours, there's so many different places, different audience, different cultures, countries, you know, it's a mix of everything that we actually face, and everywhere there is something happening.
The thing is that we're a part of
Even in
every
the family.
Absolutely. I think that's what you and I are doing in whatever way are now together, is that we're just having a conversation that lets people see us and themselves, because we're a reflection and they're, you know, it's a projection and reflection.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right that, you know, one of the things, because the pageant for me became a nutshell, every part of my life got involved with it. There was so much, whether it was career, everything came into that month of December when the pageant happened.
Wow.
And obviously we're talking about the Miss Bharat USA pageant of 2017. I also got to see, I didn't know, of course we don't know who's going to win, right, at the end, and it was a 3-day thing, just to give you the counterpoint to that, because it was laid out. I've never done anything like this. I'm a spiritual teacher. You don't know this yet.
You had to tell me all about that.
So I'm deep into meditation for hours, and people who've heard me speak know about this. So I get all of my information through the universe and divine nature and God, right? So I speak. I mean, that's who I am. So first of all, it gave me a platform to bring out this other side of me. Go into that later. But the idea was, when the pageant was over, I'm in my gown and I've won a crown. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. How did that happen, you know? And I see at the end of the pageant, now this is a beautiful, funny, just heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, like beautiful story, blows you up. So now the pageant was 3 days long, and everybody now had left. I'm the last person there. People are walking out and everything. I'm the last person getting my things together, and I always like stay in the space to just experience what I've been through. So I see on the stage where we've done this big, you know, pageant tour, I see the people who are the organizers, Rashmi Bedi, who you've interviewed, and Janak, and Aryan Vaid, and all of these the mentors, everybody who was a core group, 7 or 8 people, maybe 9 people, sitting at the corner of the stage, and they'd opened up packets of food, foil packets, and they're eating food at like 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? And so I went and I sat down on the stage with them. I'm in my white ball gown. And it was beautiful to just be a 3-year-old and sit with these people that I was like really loving, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I still have my crown on my head. And I'm just listening to them. And Vani, this is the message.
Uh-huh.
I'm hearing them speak like I'm a fly on the wall. How many times have we wanted to be a fly on the wall and just know what's actually going on in the background?
Exactly.
And this is the kid in us, right? This is what we want to know. So I'm sitting and I'm like this, and they're all there, and somebody's saying, oh, this person did so beautifully, I watched her really expand and really blossom over 3 days, and somebody else is saying, yeah, she really deserved it, and then da 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 da. And they're talking about every one of the contestants so beautifully. And I got to see कि ये नहीं है कि जो आगे है वो पीछे नहीं. I got to see exactly how they felt about their contestants and what they put. I remember Rashmi saying, I wanted them to have more than I did when I won and what I had in my pageant.
Wow.
And then it was that moment, and I remember Aryan coming up and Aryan was saying, and Sia deserved to win. And that's when Rashmi said, well, Sia's right here. And then, I became part of the conversation. But what I did, then it's about, how you bring it to the world. So there was something that we'd done where we had created a WhatsApp group with all of the participants, and I had done a seminar based on the work that I do. So I had my own resonance with everybody. Everybody basically, they got to know me.
Yes,
the people that were in the seminar.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know what? We actually have got into a story that is not covering anything about you yet.
It's coming to that.
Okay.
If I'll just complete this really
All
quickly,
right,
and
sure,
you'll see what I mean.
Sure.
And in that, my heart was breaking. And I shared with the rest of I did a WhatsApp voice note, and I shared with the participants what we meant to our mentors and what we meant to the organizers. And that for me washed out all of this, whatever, all of the nature that the weather, it was like, they say put out who you want to be in the world. I remember crying through the message as I was leaving, like, you guys have to understand, you weren't just beauty pageant contestants that came on a stage and then left. They actually cared about you. And that's the message that I want to bring to the world. We care. We matter.
Everybody does.
We're precious.
Yes.
And we need to live our best.
So true, darling. But
Thank you for
what?
letting me finish.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm like so eager to know about all these other awesome things that you've got with you, And when we start a journey here, we usually say we want to start from the beginning. All right, where were you born? Okay, what made you what you're talking about now? You know what? If actually we know your journey, we will know better how you actually are a person that you actually talked about. Your latest, right now. So let's get going and let's talk about where were you born.
I started with the icing. You want to start with the ingredients of the cake. Very good.
Exactly. Exactly.
And as you know, it flows, right? I was born in Bombay. My mother was in tourism in Air India. She'd been working for a long time. I was born 12 years after they got married. So
a working mother at that time was rare.
Very rare, and she was amazingly dynamic. She passed away. But she gave me who I am today. There's so many things that I learned.
Where were you born, by the way?
I was born in Bombay.
Bombay. All right. And you grew up there?
I grew up, I was there till I was 12.
Okay.
Just as I turned 13, we moved here to New York and then to New Jersey.
Oh, so you actually did your schooling, etc. here?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to private school in Bombay. While we were there, we all go to, we go to convents and stuff. But yeah, I finished my education
Wow, you actually did it all, the chunk of it here.
Yeah, I grew up here.
Okay, that is interesting.
Isn't it fun?
Very interesting, because that's a great combination.
Yeah.
A different combination.
Yeah.
Most of us grew up completely in India.
Okay.
All right, and then you come abroad, and then by that time you've actually developed a personality. You have developed a lot of things within you, right? And then you come here, and then you actually adopt so many other things, whereas you were just born there, so you just got a little feel of what it was like, the Indian atmosphere, and then you actually came abroad. So I guess there is a lot to your personality, right? Because you must have learned so much that was here as a child. Learning it when you were younger is different. Would you agree with that?
I have something to say about that.
Sure.
I think it also depends on the person. I think you're born with certain stars.
Yes.
You're born with something, and it develops. And then you have obviously your parents, your society, your friends, the things that you choose.
Correct.
But I think the ultimate choice, what you're going to be, is determined. And you just feed into it. So I tend to be, to what you're saying, I agree. you become a certain sort of person. For me, because I've always been very, very philosophical, I didn't know these things about myself. What I saw about and I've really I do and have done a lot of soul searching, so that's where all of this comes from.
Wow.
So to have this conversation with you about the juxtaposition again between the Eastern and the Western, this is what I see from the other side. That first of all, I didn't realize this. I'm not the normal sort of person, which is fine and not fine, doesn't matter. We're all different, right?
Why do you say that?
The thought process. My brother's 3 years younger than me.
So you have 2 siblings?
Yes.
Okay.
He's younger.
So dad, mom, you and your younger brother.
That's it.
That's your family.
That's my family. And what I got to see as I was growing up through the different experiences, and I'll just go backward a little bit in a minute. But what I got to see growing up, I didn't grow up the normal Indian child only because my parents didn't have that mentality. They were very, very simple people. Simple, not minded. My mom was very intelligent. She came from an educational background. My dad was a very different person. So it was almost like my mom, she earned more money than my dad. And at the same time, she wore the saris and stuff, and she worked in a beautiful office. She met celebrities. She did all of that stuff, but she never stuck up. We got that simplicity of mind. Innocence is a simplicity of mind. Complicated ho jata hai, egoic ho jata hai.
True.
So I tend to be an extrovert and an introvert. I look very deeply into things, but then when I come out, I want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
My father, on the other hand, had the depth. So my father loved soul, like the Sufi music. I listen to Abida Parveen now, and so much depth. He would listen to music.
Abida Parveen, haven't heard the name in
Delicious.
ages.
I was listening to her the other day in Gulzar.
Yes. Oh yes.
Who do you become when another world?
Yes. So true.
So growing up, now this is the point. I wasn't this person. I didn't know who I was growing up.
True.
Because my mother was, although she was a working person, she was also now here going into the depth a little bit. She was also, like most other women, disconnected from her own emotions or disconnected from herself. So me being a very sensitive child, I'm very open about these things. I didn't get the nurturing and the love. I got everything. My mother loved me to death. But I didn't get that cuddling. The mothers that can give their kids now, and we're more aware of those things. So as I grew up, I didn't know what I was missing. And then I had to actually to learn some of these things, and then remother myself into the emotional nurturing that I am today, and what I give to others.
So your mom was not very expressive?
She wasn't, like most Indian people, I would say, if I can say it, or most maybe ethnic people even. I don't think you can generalize.
Okay.
I think because I can't speak for her. I can't speak for anybody, obviously, but I can speak from the other side, the daughter that I was. I would have loved to have received, I love you, the softness of the embrace and the gentleness and the delicious.
She was not somebody who was expressive. Is that what you're saying?
I would say she was disconnected from her own emotions. She was very loving. She threw wonderful parties. She was a great social person. She wasn't a socialite. She was very grounded and earthy. And she knew how to love through her cooking. So how some people love through action.
Totally.
They love through action.
Totally.
Other people love when I'm loving myself or in love, I want to receive it through an embrace or through a word or a glance. So much, and through action.
Exactly.
So I think we can be a total
package. Yeah.
So I think if you and I are talking, you'll see some places in your life that you started to give yourself something that maybe you didn't get in your youth.
Yes.
But you have to understand yourself.
Yes.
Otherwise, I lived a life through my teenage years, through my 20s, I lived a life into my 30s of someone that was completely disconnected from myself, and that was that was the biggest failure of my life, and the lesson that I've learned, and that's what the pageant kind of fits into that, because I started to give myself everything that I didn't get, and that's how I became my whole complete self.
That's so fantastic. But to be able to, I have not really come across anybody besides myself that actually tries to make sense of every part of my life.
Connect, yeah.
So true. I mean, it's very rare, Sia, extremely rare. I've seen it.
Gehrai ka matlab, it's not depth. It's andar jana, bahar jana, uppar jana, niche jana, sideways, inside out. You have to look at the total package that you are, the life that God has given you.
Yeah.
You can run after money, you can run after things, but you're going to get lost. This is where you find everything. So that's why I respect. Now
I didn't even know that. You know, by the way, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. But for me, it was important to understand everything. Otherwise, I'm not in it.
Yeah.
You know, only when I understand it,
Yeah.
I'm totally in it. And
Yeah.
like you were talking about this, some people express their love through various actions. I have a sister who can only show it through food. There's no other way she can express it.
Yeah.
Absolutely none other. She cannot go and give a hug, okay, to her kids. I mean, she loves
Bless
them.
her. Bless
All right, there's nobody that she could love more. She's completely, devoted her life just to the family. She's not even a working woman, by the way. But she's not a person who can go hug. She's not a person who will say, I love you. All right? So she can't. She just can't. So, and for you, to have been on that side, like I'm thinking about my nephews, right? They might be missing that a lot, because she's not doing
Well, they
it.
have an aunt like you. They have an aunt like you.
I'm glad to, yes, but it's difficult, I would say.
I learned something. I learned through everything that I've been through. I learned that a child, up until the age of 3, is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, if the parents, the aunts, the uncles, whoever's around, fill that child with love and light. Light is
Yes.
this roshni,
Yes.
that light,
yeah,
that
yeah.
intelligence, because
Yeah,
the brain is
yeah.
still working.
Totally.
It's still being formed. The emotional, because we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body, we have so many different, we have an aura, we have so many energy bodies, by the way.
Okay.
And so as a child is being born and growing up in those first few years, months
Uh-huh.
and years,
Uh-huh.
if all you have around that child is love, what happens? It's very important. They get filled with love. Then when they go to nursery school, wherever they go,
Uh-huh.
what happens, the difference is, if the child doesn't get that, they have gaps. So then somebody even gives this child a negative look or dirty look, or somebody says something negative around the child, because there's a gap, will pick it up. And it incorporates it as part of its personality.
Wow.
That's how we are grown. By the time we're 3 or 4 years old, then everything is developing. So that's why this work is so important to me. Work means my own living, because
You have to
wherever I
tell me
go,
what you do too, yeah,
wherever
yeah.
I go, when I talk about work, I'm telling you this. When I meet a person, again, I have to work through my own experiences too. But when, as much as I can, if the person allows, if like you're open, but you wouldn't have known this when we met. But what I tend to do is, I see that 3-year-old in every person that I meet, and I just fill love. I just fill love, so that there are no gaps.
Wow.
I don't want gaps between us. I don't want that. It sucks.
Wow.
Because I don't want negative in that, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with negative, because it only makes your positive more strong, right? Moment you see it. So that's the
That's a
like for
perspective
me.
again.
That's not just it's what I live. And then when I see a child, I have a nephew who's 2.5, and I just want to fill him with love. And I can't always. Not everybody's open to listening to the things that I say, because they don't want to go that deep sometimes.
No.
Then you just be you. You give
Hardly.
it through a hug. You give it through a look.
Yes.
But when you talked about your nieces and nephews, that's why I said, like, at least someone who's willing to hear.
Yeah.
Someone who's, and then when you go and you hug them, you'll hug them with a different, like, I want to fill you with love, so that you are always full of love, and that's all you.
Yes.
Because
Oh
what you
my
get is what you
God.
vibrate.
Oh my God.
Thank you for letting me say that.
That beautiful feeling, that the way you've expressed it is really precious, I must say. I have always been that, and I never knew the science behind it. All right, the way you're expressing it so beautifully now.
Thank you.
So I think, that is what makes me me, and I actually believe that my parents filled me up with so much of love, so much of faith, so much of everything that I could ever want for the rest of my life and more. That I do not find the need. I do not. I cannot see any gaps, which life has definitely given me later on in life, right? It does. You grow up, you get out of your house, and then there's a big wide world out there. You
you
know,
live your experiences,
yeah, a new
yeah.
family. You know, you have a new family, you have new work, you have new countries, you have new people. Everything is new, and there are tons and tons of gaps. All right, everywhere. But what I see myself, like you said, I did not know the science behind it, but I believe that only because of that faith that my parents, that love that they've given me, that I love myself so much. You know, I love myself so much.
I love it.
That I don't need anything more.
And that's
to
what we
make me or
want.
break me.
Exactly.
But I do need love. Every human being wants love at every age, at every point of time. I don't think there is a single human being in this world that says I don't need love. They do. Everybody does. We want love. We need love. We crave for love. All right. We want to give love. You know, I've actually understood giving love is so therapeutic too.
Yeah. It fills you.
Exactly. You know, when you're just being very warm to somebody, that warmth engulfs you too, right? So I've always seen that I've always just got a lot more than the love that I shared, you know, which I did all the time because I don't know anything better. You know, that's the only thing I know to give. So I've always done that. But what you said is so true, that, you know, but why I told you this in detail was another reason, because you said that you understand this much better, and I'm trying to understand something. I've asked more than a couple of people about this. So this was the same atmosphere that I and my sister grew up in, right? So how about, you know, this great difference that I see, you know, such parity between us, you know? I mean, why it's not at all possible for her to hug, why it's not possible to say I love you, all right? Why she's got so many gaps when I feel so overflowing with it, you know? Same home, just 4 years difference. What would you say?
I have a lot to say about that. That's actually part of my teaching. So my brother and I are absolutely different. We can start with something very simple, and we can leave it at that, or we can go deeper, depending on how deep we want to go with this. On a very personal level, where, like I said, you know, you're born with certain stars, right? And so there's something that you and I, we'll take it out of the external. We'll just say there's something that you and I have in common. We have a number, we're both mercurial. So you told me that you were born on the 23rd. My life path number is a 32. You see, 2332. So
how do you get that number?
For a life path, you add up your date of birth, month of birth, and year of birth, complete.
Okay.
And that comes down to a compound number.
Okay.
But my birth number is an 8.
Okay.
8 is Saturn. I'm just going to break this down. 8 is Saturn. Now Saturn makes me deep. Okay? Then comes, now this is part of the numerology. There's a lot to this. Then there's numerology. Then there's astrology. Then I'm born under certain stars. I'm born under a lot of Saturn and Venus stars. So I love I love the depth. I can meditate for hours. I love connecting with saints. I love connecting with all of the divine nature that the planet, that God has to offer us. That's my Saturn. At the same time, communication, business, all of these things, the mental workings, intellect, is ruled by Mercury. Now you're going to start to see the correlation. The beauty, why I love looking like a woman, Venus. Venus is all about beauty, abundance.
Correct.
So that's why so when you understand who you are, it's not about planets and all of that. This is just part of the science of understanding yourself and understanding life, right? If I didn't know what I know, I would think, oh, I'm really comfortable because I connect with bliss. I'm in ecstasy when I'm meditating. Aur kya chahiye? What else do I need in my life? But then there's an aspect of me that likes wearing the jhumkas and doing my hair and all of this. I understand, okay, that's the Venus in me. I have to honor that aspect of me. Then I'm part of what I do. I'm a speaker as well. And so I inspire and motivate people, starting with myself, right?
Wow.
So I have to understand, okay, this is one of my gifts. When you know, now this is the key. When you know what your gifts are, you enhance them, you work on them, you bring them out to the surface.
So true.
At the same time, I'm willful. I can be stubborn. I have a double, so I'm when I look at my astrology, I'm a double Taurus, bull, double stubborn. Now, the next part of this is, what do you do? When you see something in you that can be a negative in a personality, standing your ground is great, but being stubborn and going the negative way, I'm not going to listen to you, doesn't work. I did that when I was a teenager. Learn from that. So in my journey of life, through learning about spiritual science, through learning about myself, my journey, I decided somehow I was going to turn my stubbornness into determination.
Wow.
So that's the personality difference that you can make.
So
and
you
then
actually
that made,
worked on it?
yeah. All of this is very conscious. None of this. There's certain things that you're born with that you're interested in. Metaphysics is a big interest of mine. But then how far, I took it very far. I understood as much as I can. Now I'm trying to understand the external of life more. But what I wanted to say to you, to you about you and relationships in general, the deeper, so that's how we kind of dissect ourselves. As human beings, we can open ourselves up and say objectively, subjectively and objectively. Subjectively, you can't really see yourself. You need perspective.
Yes.
Objectively, if I look at myself, who do I want to be? Who am I? What's the missings that I see? What's the gaps that I see? Let me fill them with the best of me. Done, right? Complete. As much, and it's a work in progress, always.
Always.
I still get nervous. I still get stressed. I still get all of those things.
So true.
But I know I'm fun. I enjoy myself when I'm having a good time, right? So that's a personality that comes out. Now, what happens? Life is a soul journey. Now, this is going to answer your question like slam dunk, okay?
Okay.
My soul came to this planet for a reason. Your soul came to this planet. My brother, my father, my mother, your parents, your siblings. Every human being on this planet came here for a reason. We took on these stars. We took on all of this because the soul need is to be unconditional. We are given seeds in us. Those seeds sprout. Vani is beautiful. Vani is gorgeous. Vani just exudes love. What does Vani also exude? Light. Vani exudes humor. She can just be herself no matter what. She's delicious. Okay?
Oh, I love that.
Vani is like, right? Now, what is Vani going to go through? I went through this myself. I had to like learn all these because I question, just like you. The number 5, we have it in common.
Yes.
Intellect.
Yeah.
I have to know why. I have to understand.
Yeah.
The depth in me gives me the answers, by the way. So Vani is delicious. I love being with her. So Vani is going to be given people in her life that are the opposite. So that Vani can be more Vani and unconditionally. If everybody was Vani, Vani wouldn't be able to see herself.
Wow.
Right? So that's why. And then by being you, by being me, by each of us, when we know ourselves, when we are ourselves in that experience, then we're influencing others. You're influencing others. We're influencers. We're leaders that lead people. I'm not talking about this from the ego perspective.
No.
We
I know
lead
what you mean.
people.
This
If we're-
personality.
Exactly. And living from our core, living from our essence. When you exude your essence, you're feeling the best.
So true.
Who do you know? How many people on this planet do you know that live their essence and enjoy it? Very few.
Very few.
How many do we want? All.
Exactly.
We want everybody to enjoy this because we want to enjoy this with
Why
them,
not?
with ourselves.
Why not?
We're enjoying it, right?
Exactly.
So why do siblings differ? Is this? I won't go very deep into this because it can take an hour to go through the soul because it's an actual story about how the soul works and how God works and everything.
Wow.
And everything. But to put it all in a beautiful little box, a gift box in a nutshell, so that people can understand and the conversation is clear, that you draw into you experiences based on what you're meant to learn on this planet as a soul. And the idea is that if you let the soul live, the soul will adhere to itself first. It'll come through your personality. You won't have an ego identity. You'll be living yourself. How good is that, right? Just living your perfect self all the time. And then you'll be able to influence others with who you are, love and light, bliss, passion. What is more successful than that? Abundance. It's part of our inner nature. And so that's the idea. That's why people like me, people like you that are committed to living our truth, we are given not tests, not challenges, but we're said, can you really, yes, you're getting this as part of your seeds, but can you be this all the time unconditionally and no matter what?
No matter what comes around you, huh?
That's it. And that's the reason everybody has their own journey. Your sister, my brother, my parents, every human being on this planet is going to walk their path. They're going to walk their journey. We have to learn to be ourselves unconditionally and no matter what. That's the key.
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful?
I mean, to be able to understand it with such, clarity, like you do. It's amazing, but I'm sure it took you a lot of time because you studied a lot of things apparently, right? So tell us about that part, because you couldn't have, woken up one morning and you knew about all this.
Well, going backward, I actually wake up every morning and I get new teaching.
Perspective. No, I
insights.
get that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
And, yeah.
is
There's a
talking
process.
about numerology and talking about soul and God and why people put people in places, etc.
Yeah.
This doesn't come through just perspective.
No, it doesn't. It's
Right?
It's
You have to do some study, you have to understand a few things deeply and work on it to be able to put all these things together the way you put it. So now you tell me, what did you study?
Teenager, lost myself, kept losing myself.
But
30.
as a teenager you came here?
Came here.
How old were you when
Went
you were here?
through.
12?
I think I turned 13. Like it was within my the first few days of being 13 that we landed here,
Okay.
and lost. One of the things that happens, lost my identity. Didn't know where I belonged. Teenager, walking into a new
New world.
environment. It wasn't that bad. I wouldn't say New York wasn't bad, because coming from Bombay, it was like
Yeah,
the
it was
environment.
okay. Yeah,
New
yeah, yeah,
Jersey
yeah,
was
yeah.
not happy.
At that time,
And
especially.
I was 14, 15, exactly. At that time, 14, 15, 16, and I was a hormonal kid. I think my mom was what I learned about my parents, they followed the trend. I didn't know how, and I didn't know that about myself. So, fast forward then, to answer your question. Grew into a young woman, very headstrong, very kind, loved people, didn't know how to love myself, but I wasn't lost at that point. I was just finding myself.
Okay.
And through different things that happened, it was a period of my life that was about a decade long, where something happened in my life that I just kept losing myself every day, to the point that in the first few years, and I didn't know it because I didn't know who I was. I was just growing into myself, and something happened, and I kept losing myself, and I broke down. And I didn't realize kept spiraling into depression after depression after depression, to the point that my physical body then stopped working. I was only in my 20s. And I remember being 27. And I was telling you this earlier, but I didn't get very deep into it. I remember I had a beautiful house. We had 3 houses on the water. I was ready to die. I couldn't walk downstairs. If I got out of bed, I would collapse. My body had given up because my soul had given up. I'd given myself up.
Oh my
I was
God.
emotionally bereft, absolutely drained. Mentally, I don't know what happened to me. I was lost.
Wow.
And at that point in my life, so telling you about the journey, so that's, the person sitting here today is, I couldn't even imagine this could be me.
Correct.
The beauty of life, the gorgeousness of what grace
What you're
has given
enjoying
me.
it today.
Oh my God!
I can see it in your face.
Oh
right?
my God!
Yeah.
The light.
Yeah.
But this is what I'd lost, and I didn't even know. Wow. So there was a moment I had. The thing is, you don't have to study anything to get something. At my last stage, I was told I had a very short time to live. I said, why didn't you say a few days? I don't want to live that long. For me, the death sentence was actually liberation.
Wow.
I didn't want to live. And I'd given into it. Lots of different things happened, but I'd completely given into death, completely done. And one morning, just before I woke up, there was this voice, this inner voice that came out. I'd never heard it before. And it says, if you're going to give up your life, give it up for more than this. Those few words, I can't even begin to tell you. They came with this slam of energy. This
I actually
amazing-
have sort of goosebumps.
Yeah, I got them too.
Yeah.
They're called angel bumps. They're called angel bumps.
Oh, okay.
It's when we really
Feel something.
connect
Profoundly.
profoundly, exactly the depth, the core of it.
Ah.
And it was amazing, because what it did, everything that I did, I didn't know how to get myself back. But in that moment, I realized, I'm going to live. I don't know how. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know, there were different things that were going on. But I decided houses are going to get sold. A few things needed to fall into place. Within 6 months, all the houses were sold.
So were you alone through this whole process?
I was married.
You were married?
I was married.
Okay.
And I went through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2005. 2006, in August I got divorced. November my mom passed.
Ah.
My mom had given me books on metaphysics. I always had this interest.
Wow.
Just before I sold the houses, I tell people, because I teach feng shui, I do this work.
Wow.
And I had, with $200, I'd feng shuied my last house.
And how old were you?
I was early 30s, 32.
Wow.
And I feng shuied my house with $200. And we sold, by the time we sold all of our real estate, I walked away with $600,000. I had with that money bought me freedom. Money bought me who I am today. So I never denounce money. People say, it's evil. No, it's what you do with it,
Right.
So I'm telling you this for a reason. I'm talking about this for a reason, because I took whatever I had. I forgot that I wasn't supposed to live. I didn't care about that. Step by step, something led me to India, because now I didn't have houses. Since in my early 20s, I started buying houses, and everything was sold. I didn't have a place to live.
Early 20s, you started buying houses. What were you doing?
I don't know. I have an interest. I have a passion for homes.
No, but to buy it, you should have the money. How did you get the money?
That's another story. That's another story. When you have a passion for something, that's how I created my work. I think my passion kills every negative thing around me, and I just keep moving. I didn't know that. Now I do. Now I do it with clarity. Now I know what works for me.
But Sia, were you working?
I was working in a normal job.
Normal job.
Yeah.
And that could make you buy
at that
homes
time,
at that age?
Sweetie, this is what I think people will need to understand. The thought of doing something is more powerful. Exactly. It's more powerful than how the circumstances are going to happen. So since you're asking the question really quickly, I wanted to buy a house. I love being stable. I was 22. And so what we did was we ended up finding a way to get a
graduation. What did you do?
I actually started working very early. And so I did go to school, I went to college, but I transitioned into work, and then I got all of my training. I was in human resources. So I got all of my training and kept getting promoted. A great intellect is a great thing to have.
Wow.
Because you just keep incorporating things, and people see, just hunar dekhte na, they see your gift or whatever, and if you're lucky, they'll move you. So luck has a part to play in it, but you have to deliver.
You should have that hunar, like
you have to have that. You have to have that drive and that passion.
Yeah.
I don't know what I cultivated. I don't try to. I just go. I want to go. I want to do things in my life.
So you were a working woman since when you were 20?
I actually started helping my father with his store when I was 16.
Wow.
And then that got me into something else, and that got me into something else, got me into, and then working.
But independently you started working, not just with your father, right?
No.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think by 18 or 19, I started working independently. Then I worked in New York. My father helped me get that job. It was somebody he knew, but then I kept getting promoted, and that put me into the human resources.
So you were not really wanting to do the traditional way of studying and all that?
My life didn't allow that. We had some circumstances, issues and challenges in our family where I just became the breadwinner with my dad.
Okay.
When I got my brother took on a lot of responsibility, and I think that trains you as well. I do miss not having gone to college the traditional way, and the parties and all of this, because you do develop a personality there.
Yeah.
I became responsible.
Wow.
I enjoyed
at a very young
age. But I think again, I'm going to say I didn't know who I was because I learned it later. But my personality did, this external nature that I love, it started to develop probably the people that I met when I was in my 20s. And then I got married very quickly. Met somebody at work, and we fell in love and got married. But to answer your question about the house, found ways. At that time, they offered, now they do this now too, offered a 203K loan where so we bought an older house, a Victorian, and received money from the government, 3% down, received money from the government to build up the house, built that house, bought another one, lived in that for a short time, bought another one, and this was a gorgeous waterfront. It was like anybody's dream home.
Wow.
So, but then, again, you fall into things.
But you had this thing. You knew. Real estate is not the easiest thing to be able to.
It's not. I think it's also life. I mean, this is what I found, no matter what I've lived. One thing, if I look back, and I've really studied this, one thing I've found is when you have, let's say, a relatively pure nature, without knowing it, you start tapping into aspects of yourself. I believe you do this in inner work yourself. I can explain it because I've really studied it, so I have the language is there. But I think somehow life prepares you for the opportunity that's coming.
I think I would say, I understand.
I've had a lot of concrete experiences, but this was one of the most concrete experiences because I wasn't in this work, so there was no way for me to know.
Yeah.
But I had an experience with my second last house that I sold, and the sale something didn't happen, and I made a mistake in the way that I perceived it, and we lost $60,000. Not only did we lose the sale of the home and $60,000, but then it extended the sale. Like, it didn't sell for 8-9 months. So it added on stress. It wasn't just the loss of the money, but the added stress of because then we were in another home. So it was the added stress that I didn't want to take. But something occurred to me and said, let me learn everything, how I failed.
Wow.
And so now I didn't know we were going to be in this bigger house. I didn't know we were going to have to sell it shortly after we bought it. I didn't know what was going to happen. But because I learned over time what I'd done wrong, and then eventually the house sold, miraculous, these are miraculous stories. But when I realized through this one statement that says, live your life, now the big house is going to get sold. Well, the way that I interacted with that sale, I was a different person because of the lesson that I'd learned.
Wow.
Had I not learned that lesson, this house was selling for $1.6 million, okay? It went we didn't even put it on the market. It wasn't even listed. We got a full price offer without the person seeing it within the first week of just deciding we were going to sell it.
That's miraculous.
It's miraculous.
A pure miracle.
But if I'd been the other person, I would have gone into worry. And this is what we have to always see. If I'd been the other person, I would have gone into worries. Will it sell? Will it not sell? This will happen. What can fall through? Instead of doing all of that, which was my previous personality, the new personality that had learned the lessons just went into it and said,
developed between
because of the failure.
Home.
Because of the failure.
Wow. And that failure actually got you so down that you were actually embracing death?
No, 10 years. I was a failure for 10 years. Death is the biggest failure. I'm joking about this because death is also liberation.
Exactly.
But in essence, I was destroying myself from the inside out. So the death was just a representation of me having destroyed myself from the inside out. And that was like, I'm here. Ready? Let's go. So that's the biggest failure. If I'm dying happy, that's not a failure to me.
Correct.
That's not a failure. That's a life. That's a life lived. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to heaven now. And that's today when I speak to God, I'm like, hey, I'm in heaven. Let's go.
Exactly.
So, but the point being that was one aspect of failure in my life that I learned from enough, so that when this house is now being sold, when so many other things can go wrong, this person has just made a verbal offer. But the person that I became was, okay, I knew what to do. Let's get him in. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm on track now. No negative thoughts. Wow. And that's the success.
So you believe that
I didn't know not to believe because I'd learned the lesson. Forget about positivity because positivity will only get you so far. You've got to live it.
Lesson.
I am probably one of the most positive people you're going to meet because I don't see negative, but that doesn't mean I'm blind to it.
Uh-huh.
So I prefer the word being in power. You can't get more positive than being in your own power.
Yes.
So any failure puts us into, if we learn from it, the right lessons, puts us into the power. So that $60,000 loss and all that stress then became a life lesson. A challenge and a life lesson made $600,000 within 7 months. It's okay to learn that lesson. It's okay to have that failure. It's okay. That's what I want people to learn. That's what I want people to understand. You can make, this is the one thing that changed my life once. You can keep making mistake after mistake after mistake, but you only have to do one right thing in one moment. It could be
everything falls in place
because it's a domino effect. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? Like we can live empowered?
Yeah, but it's so interesting to know that somebody has gone through so much, all right, and not just came out of it, but also the beauty is, I would have seen a lot of people that actually wanted to close it as a chapter that they didn't want to think about anymore, right?
Yeah.
Throw it away, throw it all away.
Yeah.
But you should be very brave to want to go back into that space and analyze and see what I did, how I did, why I did, all right? And come out with this kind of clarity.
It's just humbling.
Right? And be so proud of yourself, of what you've turned into, right?
I think I'm more,
You've done it.
if I was going to be proud of anything, there was one statement that I made to myself at that time, because I looked at my life and I said, what is this 10 years of pain worth? And I remember I was out in the street, in fact, and I was walking out of a meeting. And I said, what is 10 years of pain? What have I done?
You
right?
want to talk
And
about
that one-
something to do with that pain?
I just want to complete this. Yes, we get I go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I remember the next statement that came was, if I can help one person not live through it, it's worth it.
Wow.
It's worth, and today living, like teaching people to turn their pain. It's called turning. I call it turning your pain into power, or turning your pain into passion, or turning your pain into love and light. The grace in you, all the good in you. It's worth it, because
totally.
you'll never have to live it again. You'll never have to live. If you analyze it, if you're not afraid of it, it takes time, but you'll never have to live it again.
But
And
I think most important
yeah.
lesson I've learned through my life,
Yeah.
not really knowing anything, I'm very blessed that all these things came naturally to
Yeah.
me. All this positivity, because I honestly cannot see something dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, if right now behind that, I can see your crown, the beautiful crown, but behind it I see, it's a setting, right? Our studio is a setting, and it's not the most beautiful part, but and that's larger than this crown that is sitting on the table, but my eyes are just, drawn to that. So
The beauty.
when it happens
Yeah.
naturally, then I'm only blessed.
Yeah.
I won't take credit for anything, because you have built that kind of attitude. You have built that kind of a personality through so much of pain, right? You built it through all of that struggles and pain and all that, and where you are here today, it's like, I don't know how to, no crown would ever actually be able to honor you enough, for the kind of person that you've turned out to be. But you know what? Because there are very few people that dare to talk about their lives, that dare to talk about pain, right?
And deal with it.
And deal with it is a ultimate thing. Once you deal with it, once you get out of it, you are so evolved as a human being, that you would not really have any problem talking about anything. Right? That comes to you, right? Only when you have
to empower yourself to empower others. I think a life that's lived only for a small nucleus, to me, if it were my life, I'd be wasting it. I think life is best lived when you're living it. But you have to live it first for you.
Yes.
You have to be that. You have to embody it.
Yes.
One thing that, when you were talking about yourself, I do want to say this. We need people like you on this planet. We need people like you that just are. And by contrast, maybe we need people like me. I knew there was light in me. I'd just never seen it. So I was fighting for my light. Not my life. I was fighting for my light.
Right. You didn't know.
I didn't know. It's when I found it, I was like, hey, yes. So some of us have the gift. Some of us, I had the seed. I had to grow into the tree.
Yes.
And bear the fruit. Maybe
And-
that's
and
another
work
way.
hard for it.
But I'm telling
And
you,
it was
honey,
worth it, I'm sure.
It's oh yes, it's
Absolutely,
delicious.
absolutely worth it, right? So what I wanted to ask you was, there are a lot of people out there, when they see somebody, very happy, all right, either they think that it's an act, or they think that that person is extremely lucky. These are the only two things people actually usually would think. It's a
Yeah.
natural reaction, right? When you see somebody, oh, her life must be golden, that's the reason why she is the way she is.
It depends on the person, but yes, I get it.
Most of the
Most
people.
people,
Would you agree with me?
Yes, if we
Generally?
generalize. Unless somebody, I think pain, if somebody's gone through pain, and we've met, I'm sure you have and I have, met so many people that are empathetic and compassionate. Compassion only
are.
comes through pain.
They are.
Pain and understanding. But you can't live in the pain, you have to grow out of your pain. And I do, yes, so please continue.
No,
Yes.
but what you're saying is so true. You know, there are so many compassionate people out there, but basically when somebody looks at somebody who is
Oh, yeah.
very happy,
They find it easy to judge.
They don't really find it very natural. Okay, and every single time when I sit here and I'm talking to anybody, I try to keep saying that yes, I'm blessed with so many things.
Yeah.
This attitude is what is taking me to be the person I am, not my circumstances.
No.
You know, not my circumstances.
Right.
And when I told you that in my childhood, the way I felt, okay, my soul and my heart and my body feels that it has had all the love I needed for now and forever. So much that I can keep pouring it out to the entire world because I'm overflowing with it.
You're blessed.
You know, I am truly blessed.
Yeah.
But then my circumstances are not. You know what? Like I said, when you get into a different world, everything is different, right? Everything is different. But all these different experiences do something to you too. Because just now you said something. You said that, you know, if you can feel all that and just keep it to yourself, it's not enough. You know, you should share it, right? I didn't know about that. You know, I just didn't know about that because all I knew was to keep myself happy. All right. I was a happy person for half of my life. And then again, circumstances are that they're not actually making you happy. All right. But then you decide, oh, you don't really like it the way it is, but then it's okay. You can still try and make yourself happy. Right? Because people are different. People are different, you know, and with different people, different kind of vibes.
Absolutely.
You know, but that different vibes today, I feel that it has empowered me so much because now I know what is being empowered. All right, to be able to use these qualities and these blessings that God has given me. I didn't know what to do with it till, you know, other energies around me actually created situations, okay, that made me, today I'm a million times better person than I was, where I was loved and cocooned, you know, and protected in a very different way. Oh, even now I'm protected with life, you know, no doubt about it. But it's only kind of energies people exude, the kind of personality they have, all these things have different effects on you.
Absolutely.
You know? Totally. It has so much. So why I'm saying this is that I think you're right about wanting to be able to share. Okay, and when I started this show, that is the only thing that I had in my mind. I want to be able to share that. Circumstances will never change. Circumstances will be always just the way they are. People around you will not change. They will be just the way they are. You do not have control on anything except yourself.
That's it.
Am I right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That took me 40-something years to learn. If every human being can get that, it's not them, it's you, and you own your pleasure.
And everything. Everything. You're responsible for everything.
You're responsible. The only thing is that, everything is about balance. You're not, because you're doing it. You know, one of the facets of spirituality is selfless service. Because when you give without anything, even a smile, when you give without the hope or the expectation to receive, then you're just being you.
And it's easy.
For
everybody.
And there's no disappointment.
Yeah.
Because you keep being you and you keep moving.
That's
and
about
the people and the circumstances that are right for you, they keep meeting you. You keep meeting better and better people.
Yes.
And then you get all of that anyway.
Oh yes. Yes. So it's a huge big world.
That's
there are all kinds of people.
There
are all kinds of people. There's so many people that are filled with love and they're giving so much love, all right? But what I see is people are lacking self-love.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to focus more on, because I know that a lot of people are able to give love. But
I would love to talk about that for a moment. If you can.
Absolutely.
I love to hit people between the eyes, like the science behind it, with knowledge.
Yeah.
This is so empowering.
Yes.
One of the things that I learned is that because what's the whole? Let's talk about love for just a moment, right? What
Okay.
is love?
Affection, kindness,
It's like something.
appreciation.
But okay, so let's. I just want to do this. I want to play with this for a little second, okay?
Okay.
We don't know love until we know love. Like until we've experienced it, we don't know what love is.
Wow.
Your sister you talked about. If she embraced you and me today,
Yeah.
she would just be filled with love, and she'd go around hugging everyone,
Exactly.
right? So until you've had, so I actually feel sorry for the people that can't express it.
Yeah.
Is love, so, but let me ask you a question then. Is love only love when it's expressed? No.
No.
I could still be feeling that.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to overtly, but if I'm in a partnership with a friend or with a love partner, let's say I'm in a partnership, and he, in your case, or she, whoever the person is, if the person needs to receive love,
yeah.
and they feel that an embrace is love, and that's the partners recognize that about each other. So let's say the man loves eating good food, and to me
Yeah.
he feels the love in the food. I don't feel the love in the food. I
Correct.
feel it in embrace. So
Correct.
that's not
That's the
so
point.
so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
is communication love? Is expression love?
Yes.
Verbal? Yes.
Wow.
What is not love? Everything is love, right?
Everything
Everything
is
is love if you choose to see it like that. Or nothing is love. Or nothing is love.
That's beautiful.
So then we come back to what is self-love. I was like, what the heck? They keep talking. I've done the metaphysical studies. I've gone into meditation, and I know how the planets work. I know all of this stuff. What is self-love? And then I got it. And I always look at benefit.
True.
Human
Everybody
mind.
does.
I look at the blessing. I look at the number 8.
You're
Figure
right.
8 is the blessing,
Uh-huh.
and the benefit comes to the human. So when I meditate, I get all the blessings. I get all the good stuff. I get the juiciness, and I bring it down to my life. So the bliss that I get, you exude light and love. I exude bliss. My state is bliss, anand, right? And that ananda that they talk about. And then when you spread it, then you get it back because you're generating it in the world. So then I learned about. So the whole thing was self-love. What is that? I get all of that ananda. I get it. But then I go out into the world, like you said. And I get when we do this kind of work, we become very sensitive, like you've talked about. And so I feel all the energy in the space from people. If they're negative, I can feel it. I hear their thoughts.
Yes.
Oh my God! Now what is love?
Yes.
So then I realized, blessing, love when I feel it for myself. Today I know that when I'm with myself, my aim is that my heart should be absolutely open. The person that I am inside should match the person that I am outside. When I'm loving, when I see you, I just want to light up and like hug you, right? But that's what I want to feel when I look at myself in the mirror.
Self.
And
Correct.
I adore what God has created when I look in the mirror. I look at myself as that reflection,
Okay.
right? So
And I have a message for my cameraman. I love doing that in front of the mirror every single time.
right? That's self-love.
Right? It's fun, right? Yeah,
How
it's
many-
self-love.
Let me ask you one question though, and to our audience: how many people do that? How many people
Can
are
say that.
how many people are cynical and say, "Oh, walk away"?
Exactly. Most of them.
But the thing is that you're pushing away the one, like this body, this mind, this heart is going to go with you till you die.
Okay.
No friendship, no money, no career. Nothing is going to go with you.
I remember saying this to somebody,
Is
that
that
the only person that is going to be with you till you die since the day you were born is yourself.
And you
What
better
is
be-
so wrong in liking this person? Because
Exactly.
everybody else will come and go.
Yeah.
Right? I remember saying this, a couple of times about something.
Synchronistic.
Yeah,
No,
makes sense.
It absolutely does, and that's
and
so
it's just common sense. Forget about science.
So how many people think
Right,
like this, and
science
that's
or
the sad part.
metaphysics. Yeah, nothing. Basic.
Basic.
You are all you got at every given point of time. Right?
Yes.
Every given point of time.
I am all I have, and
Love
you are-
yourself.
and at the same time, oh my God, these are going to get into. So yes. So this is like your natural instinct is giving you the lessons that you need,
Correct.
right? As you
Correct.
move through life.
Correct.
More, I wish the
Learn.
whole world would live like this.
Yes.
Because then we
yes.
wouldn't have.
We all want to
wouldn't have
open up.
anything.
Like you said, a very beautiful thing. Keep your heart open, right? But I guess everybody has locked the heart and it's not even sitting in the place that it's supposed to be. I don't know. Because otherwise, how is it possible not to see the beauty around you? How is it possible not to be able to love yourself?
So let's give them a reason. How about we give them? So we know all kinds of people in this world, right? People, and there are people that are walking away from themselves, shut their heart, all of that, and there are people with open hearts going, "My heart is open. I want to share it with someone."
Yeah.
So there's a spectrum in between that people don't even know what that all that means, right? And we're
Exactly.
getting out some way or another every day. We're getting out to certain people and we're touching them. So let's give your audience a reason to do the self-love business, okay?
Okay, okay.
Do we all want money in our lives?
Yes.
Do we all want a happy, healthy partnership with our romantic partner?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
Do we want to be loved by that person that we love?
Yes.
Do we want happy parents and happy children?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do we want amazing career that you're recognized in your position, your job position, or if you're in a business and you're selling something that people come and say, I want to buy? Instead of you selling, people say, I want what you have.
Yes.
How do I get it? We want all that?
Yes.
Do you know what the key is? Do you know that the universe is based on a frequency, right? So when you fall in love with yourself, anything that you create within yourself, the universe, it's a frequency that you create. Love within yourself for yourself, the universe picks up on it and has to bring you more of of that. If you walk away with yourself, from yourself, you're gonna have to work for that career. You'll get money, you won't get the fame, you won't get the pleasure of what you won't get the satisfaction. You'll get the money. You'll get a husband or a wife, and you'll have the normal, I'll make the dish, I'll do the dishes, you make the food. You'll have that.
Yes.
Okay, on the surface it'll look great.
Yes.
But at the end of your life, when you're retired and you have no kids to look after, you have nothing else to do, but look at yourself, that's the point where you'll
gratification.
I wasted my
life.
I have the money but no satisfaction.
Correct.
And I think in our society, and I'm going to be a little bit bold about this, I don't mean to judge. My perspective is that I think sometimes we're teaching ourselves to live life the opposite way. You said it in a way. Why not retire today? I retired.
Yeah.
I learned everything I needed to learn about living, and then I started working again. So now I work from that satisfaction. I work from celebrating life. I work from being absolutely full in myself, so that I don't have to work. My spirit works through me.
Wow.
Right? When my spirit works, then I was invited to be in a pageant. After the pageant, this is the beauty. After the pageant, all of us were asked to be on a radio program. In that radio program, I was introduced to the people of the radio station. I was asked to do a show. That show is now it's called Light Up My Life with Sia.
Wow.
It's going out to the public. It's starting this month. And so where I have a foundation, I have a career, I have everything. And now I've got
new things are coming.
I've got a springboard that is going to help me bring my mission, my passion to this. My aim is the planet. In this case, right now, it's the community. One community at a
one step
time.
at a time.
And just like you, all I get to do, I do stress because I want to bring my best. But that stress is also going away because I just get to be me, just like you.
Wow.
I get to give the wisdom that God has given me.
Yeah.
What better service?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I want to die and wake up a new person every day and live in a new heaven and give that new heaven.
It's gratifying, basically, right? It's so gratifying. And this platform is doing that to me.
Yeah.
It's so gratifying. And the best part is that we are able to connect with others. When you said that you just watched me and you felt that you were connected, that is all we want, right? Some place that we can connect, all right, with a group of people. But by the way, I think we would be all up for time by now, and we are. Okay, but quickly, some things. So did you actually educate yourself on this?
I did. Really quickly. So after I got divorced, I went to India. I started to get myself healthy, and I heard I'm sick. I heard the Gayatri Mantra. I went to a naturopathy thing. I started to live. I started to exercise. I got better looking. Came back to the U.S. Somebody said, "Have you had a facelift?" I said, "No." I got happy, and then the spiritual button in me got pushed somewhere somehow. I didn't know it was happening. I got attracted to Reiki. I became a Reiki master teacher. I learned, I had an interest. I didn't know about Reiki before. I didn't know about energy healing. I've had successes where people were told they couldn't walk. They started walking after 21 days of healing. So big successes have happened. People have abundanced themselves. I work with people in their careers and stuff.
Wow.
The way to answer your question was I had an interest in metaphysics, so astrology, numerology, all of that, healing, self-healing, working with people's karma, helping them manifest their life, not through work, not through effort, but through just embodying who they are. And then effortlessly, things did fall into their place. And the people are surprised at how much happens.
Wow.
My key, though, my gift, because after everything that I learned, that was years ago, I started meditating.
Wow.
No human being could have taught me what I learned through meditation, because that's when the universe opened up to me.
Wow.
Lessons every day. I develop workshops. I teach people how to get enlightened. I teach from everything. I teach people everything that they need to know about life. But my workshops were created the words come through meditation, and people who meditate know the power of it. So I love talking about, it's not meditation, it's going in to your inner divine nature and it's infinite intelligence. You connect your intelligence, your intellect with infinite intelligence, you get the information. So it's the information highway that you don't know about. So
I
yes,
don't know when I'll get to that,
I'll
but
teach
I've
you if you
never
want.
tried that yet.
I'm happy to teach you. We're doing meditations
Yes.
as part of the radio program. So my journey was the metaphysical and the spiritual, some teachings just to kind of get the knowledge, but then ultimately the big piece of my work, who I am today, comes through meditation, through connecting and communing, having communion with the divine within myself, and then bringing it out and just being me. One thing I don't like, spirituality taken over spiritual, then it becomes cognitively irresonant with who you are as a human being. So the whole idea, people sometimes say somebody like me would have gone to the Himalayas. I almost tried. I wanted to just live in a hut.
Wow. I have a friend who is doing that.
And but my path is not that. My path is to teach people how to balance their lives.
Correct.
So that's why, I talk about having it all. So the pageant fits into that I wanted to live my full self. I wanted to have it all in the right manner, and I wanted to appreciate and express it and understand. I just wanted to live.
Tell me something.
So the
Quickly.
work is that, yeah.
Quickly. I feel like I think you mentioned it earlier too, and I have learned to believe it through some of my experiences in, few years, recently. That the more actually you are tested in life,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
I think it actually can do only two things, right? Either you're dead
It breaks you down.
or you're dead,
Yeah,
almost,
that's
okay? And even if you're living, it's not life,
Exactly.
right? So I would call it death, right? There are only two things that can happen out of experiences that are not in line with what you wanted,
Exactly.
right? So either you're dying or you're touching the sky, isn't it? Because from your life, I think, what is it that you didn't experience? Everything that people would want. Okay, a childhood, with everything right, it was still not right. Right? Everything right, it was still not right. And then at a very early age, having to become responsible, financially for a family, it's not something that's easy, because that was not the age for it, right? It was meant to be doing nothing, right? At a time when you were supposed to be doing nothing and having a ball, you actually were getting responsible. Okay, so much of responsibility to shoulder. And then again, of course, marriage is a biggest thing that happens to every human being, woman or a man, okay? And this relationship changes everything. Changes everything for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, not a single human being, I'm sure, can say that everything remained the same for me. No, I don't think so, right? Some people better than the others, okay?
Yeah.
But the whole point is that it changes everybody's lives, and when sometimes it changes lives to an extent that you completely lose yourself, and you do not have you don't see life anymore, right? When it gets that bad, forget about living even a normal life. And here we are talking about living a life that is rocking.
Oh, it's rock.
Right? Yeah. To come out of all that. And then talking about all the financial issues, selling, buying, things like that. I mean, money is very important, right? Like you said, money helped you to get to where you are today. And it was because of money also that you were in that much of depression at that point of time, maybe, right? Because
I didn't have any.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? So that was a problem too when you
Yeah.
needed to sell and stuff, right? So you don't have money, it is a problem. You have money, you can do everything with it. But it's not just black or white, right? Life is gray. And
There's
then
a spectrum, yeah. I always say that.
huge spectrum, and I guess what you saw was the entire spectrum. I mean, what
far.
did you miss?
So far, I actually, you couldn't have synopsisized it better, because I actually say that I went from losing it all over time to not only gaining it back, but now I have it all because I have me and I have the life, right?
Yes.
And it's not a proud statement to make, as in it's not an egoic statement to make. I worked at it
Yes.
and I'm teaching others, so
And worked at it is an understatement, baby.
I don't know. You know what they say, right?
It's not easy.
If it doesn't kill you, it only makes you stronger.
You're right. Absolutely right. And these things, I think, we all know.
Yeah.
But we don't pay attention to the real meaning of it. We actually try to be blind and deaf to real things that matter for whatever reason, But each one of us, if we just take a little time just to be yourself, all right, just to be able to love yourself enough to listen to yourself, understand yourself. We're so busy trying to understand others, the world, and everything around except ourselves. And I'm thinking that is the one and only problem we have. And this is the one and only thing that I know, that just take care of yourself and you'll be able to take care of everybody around you and the world around you. And you actually put science and some method to the entire process, which I was unaware of, right? And people like you, when they come in here, I've had a couple of people earlier in my shows too that were able to throw some light on things like this, which is like very rare, very rare. But I think you take the crown in terms of what you went through to get to where you've got.
Oh, you haven't heard most of it yet.
I'm sure. You just gave the peripherals, okay?
Yeah.
You just and didn't even give any details, but then you know what? It is enough.
Yeah.
Very, very, very inspiring.
Thank
very, very encouraging that at any point of time, the minute you decide you want to live, you can start living.
Yes. And the dominoes will start falling your way.
I guess. Thank you extremely, all right, for this very, very, very riveting, conversation. I don't know. This was, you brought in so many different things that was not even easy for me to take it all in, because there's so much.
Yeah.
And I know that I take a lot in, but I have to tell you that I wanted to be able to sit with you for another couple of hours at least, so that I can actually really get it all in there. Because I do have questions. I've got so many questions, and I'm sure it's good to live with questions like that. But the crux of it all is to be able to understand that you went through everything possibly anybody can go through, and then came out shining like a star, right? So that just is enough for each one of us to understand that
it's possible.
Everything is possible.
It's possible.
Everything is possible, right? They can sit like you, so gorgeous and so poised and so beautiful, and talk about life, so beautifully after really, 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 saying the worst in life, right? You go, girl.
Well, I credit you for to have that eye to see the depth in something, in an hour to catch. You caught the essence.
I tried.
The soul of the life that I've lived. So thank you.
I tried.
And my journey.
It was a privilege. Yes, your journey. Beautiful, beautiful journey, right? And when you yourself are proud of your journey, that makes it actually a blockbuster. Yeah. Right? It does. What a beautiful movie. You know what? I believe that every episode of United Voice of Women is a movie, because we are talking about a new life, a new story. And what are films? They're all movies. Movies are all about us.
Exactly.
People and their lives. All right. And here, the leading lady gets to talk about it herself.
Two leading ladies, 2 stars.
I'm telling you, but
if I say so myself.
What I meant was your life. You are your leading lady.
That's what I mean too.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So your life is what we wanted to know, and from the mouth of the leading lady. And what could be a better movie? It was fantastic, a real blockbuster. All right, and I wish I had more time. Actually, for the first time, I badly need it, because there are so many things that are going on in my mind that I want to ask and talk about, but we are all up for time for today. But thank you. God bless you.
God bless
Keep
you, and
inspiring the entire world. I don't think for the kind of person that you've become, there is any crown that we can put on your head If we could, I would love to do that, because you deserve it.
Thank you, madam.
You deserve it, okay?
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
for making it so good with your life.
Yes, I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank
Alrighty, guys. Yes, that's about time we say. It's a wrap for UVW for today, but it was some experience and an amazing experience that I've had, that I'm actually not able to speak much. Speechless, because there's so much to think about. All right, guys, but I promise you that I'm going to come back next week, same time, same place, with another awesome guest, and I can't wait. But till then, you want to remember that you take care of yourself, be good, keep smiling, and I love you.